your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, good evening to you. A quiet night, but it's about to get active for us over the next few days here. First off, the winds will become a story. They're light right now, 10, 15 miles an hour. But we're going to really ramp that up as we head into your day tomorrow. We've got generally clear skies. We had a little bit of cloud cover across northeastern portions of our viewing area earlier. Temperatures are in the 30s. They're going to hang in the 30s and may even come up a degree or two over the next several hours. We're going to see a big warm-up through the day tomorrow. But again, we've got some major winds to talk about. Then a huge cold snap that arrives for Christmas. What about rain? What about snow? There's a lot to get to, and we will break everything down for you when we come back here in a little bit, so stick around. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
It was a shocking afternoon after a man found a body in his backyard. What police are saying about its connection to another crime. Plus, he was well known and loved, a retired police officer. A legacy he left. And she wasn't a professional baker, but it didn't stop her on national TV. What you can now call that. There, she was there a minute ago. There she is, that woman in Champaign.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
Police in Decatur are investigating after a body was found this afternoon. Officers were called to the corner of Hayworth and Sunset Ave where the body was found in a man's backyard. WCIA 3's Jared Farmer is live outside the police station tonight. Jared, what else can you tell us?
Well, Paul, police have confirmed that now this is an ongoing murder investigation. They say the incident goes back to last night when a 33-year-old was kidnapped at Hair on Hand Beauty Supply Store on Water Street. I spoke to a neighbor who tells me he called 911 when he found the body in his backyard. Another neighbor I spoke to tells me he hopes the family is able to find peace.
This whole year been rough, you know what I'm saying? So for it to hit home like this, hit right in my yard, man, it's unreal.
The coroner will be performing an autopsy to determine the cause of death tomorrow. Police say if you know anything, to give a call to Crime Stoppers. That's all we have for now. Live in Decatur, I'm Jared Farmer, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jared, again, if you have any additional information, let us know. Thanks. And now for an update to a series of shootings over the weekend in Decatur. Police arrested a man they say was connected to one of them. 23-year-old Amonte O'Neill is facing charges of attempted murder and aggravated discharge of a gun. He's accused of being among 3 suspects in a shooting that left 2 people hurt on East Hickory on Sunday, one of whom is in critical condition. Champaign police are mourning the loss of a retired officer. 58-year-old Rob Wills died last night. He had cancer. He left behind quite a legacy. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is live in the newsroom tonight. Courtney, there is no end to the nice things people have to say about him.
That's right, Paul. In fact, when you say his name to anyone who knew him, they immediately smile. Wills spent his life serving the community, so I talked to a few of the countless lives he touched.
Just pure, genuine, caring individual.
Everyone seemed to know him. He seemed to know them. And there was no stranger for Rob.
Super friendly, easygoing with the kids.
I think he was very sincere and just real down to earth. He always smiled.
You could ask anyone and never hear a bad thing about Rob Wills. The former Champaign school resource officer passed away after battling cancer for a year and a half. But for many, like Betty Barnett, the memories of his selflessness will live forever.
He'd just be there for you. And that was me as a person, me as a secretary, or any of the students that needed him. He was there for you.
Wills was one of the first school resource officers in Champaign. He worked with Barnett and Vicki Jones at Franklin Middle School.
He could de-escalate a lot, too, real quick. I don't know what would have happened had he not been there.
Former Champaign Police Sergeant Scott Friedline remembers Will's sense of humor fondly.
One of the things we used to joke about was pirate night. And what we would do is we would go out and do liquor enforcement details, and it was talk like a pirate. He's going to be a huge, huge, huge loss.
He loved not only being with kids, he loved almost being a kid. Yet at the same time, he had that ability to be a police officer and do what he needed to do when he needed to do it.
At 58, Wills seemed to have had the impact of someone who's lived twice his years. though those who knew him well wish he'd had the chance to be here that long.
He's gone too soon. His family's going to dearly miss him, and I know how much we're going to miss him, and I can only imagine the hole that he's going to be leaving for his family.
Wills will also be remembered for his love of all things Disney, including Disney World. Everyone who I talked to said he loved to take trips there. They say it made sense because he was truly a kid at heart in the best way. Live in the newsroom, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Thanks for sharing his story, Courtney. Thanks again. School resource officer wasn't the only role Wills filled, as you can expect. He was also a field training officer and on the crisis intervention team for Champaign Police. On top of that, he was at one point the chief of police in Sidell. A Cass County deputy is being called a hero after saving a baby from drowning. Sheriff Devron Orn says the call came in as a 9-month-old drowning in a bathtub. He says another deputy, Alec Bunfill, was first on scene at the home in Beardstown and without hesitation used his training to revive the baby. The child was then handed to paramedics and was taken to the hospital in Springfield. The sheriff says Bunfill's immediate actions reflect greatly on law enforcement, and they're fortunate to have him. Danville's police are investigating an armed robbery. It happened around 9 last night at the Family Dollar on East Main. Employees told police a man went inside with a gun, demanded money from the registers, and then took off after getting some cash. If you have any information about what happened, you are asked to call police. A man in Springfield was federally indicted for child porn. 24-year-old Evan Taylor is also charged with sexual exploitation of a child. Authorities say he distributed pornographic images, enticed a minor, and traveled with the intent to engage in illicit sexual activity with a minor. He's headed to trial in February. 2 people in central Illinois are facing fraud charges for stealing from a business in Weldon. Jeffrey Gibbs and Carol Wilkie are charged with stealing $2 million from Clinton Marina. An indictment says they misled lenders and customers and kept money for themselves instead of paying boat sellers and repaying lenders. The charges claim this happened between 2016 and 2020. The case is being heard in Peoria's federal court. New at 6, a man had to be airlifted to the hospital tonight after authorities say he crashed his motorcycle. Happened near Route 45 and North 1450 East, that's south of Pasodum. They say someone passing by called in the crash. No word on that rider's condition. Businesses in Decatur will have one less payment to worry about in 2021. Council members voted to waive the video gaming licensing fee for businesses. Instead, the terminal operators will be paying. WCIA 3's Cole Hankey has more.
The Decatur City Council's latest move will save business owners up to $3,000 next year. Restaurants with video gaming machines won't have to pay licensing fees.
You know, with so many restaurants and bars closed, we wanted to help them as much as possible.
Video gaming machines like these are shut down because of the indoor dining ban, and it's led to big revenue losses for small businesses like Benny's Grill here in Decatur. They paid a full $3 grand for these machines that they haven't even been able to turn on for nearly half of the year. The city's move to waive that fee for 2021 is a welcome bit of good news for small businesses like Benny's.
Oh, we help to keep us afloat. At the moment, we're just trying to survive on carryout, and quite frankly, it's real hard. We don't know how long this is going to go. I mean, we can make it happen for a short period of time, but it's real hard.
Instead of the business owners footing the bill, gaming operators will cover the cost. Before this year, operators and business owners would split the fee, but the Illinois Gaming Board made that illegal, instead putting it all on the local owner in 2020. Decatur has now turned the tables.
One council member said something about that it, wasn't fair in that, and I said, nobody else is doing it, and I said, well, let's be a leader instead of a follower this time.
Video gaming is a cash cow for not only the businesses, but the city as well. The city manager noted that the city set a record for the amount of revenue brought in July when video gaming first reopened. And that also helped businesses get back on their feet after the first wave of the pandemic. Reporting in Decatur, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
This change is only in effect for 2021. The council will revisit the issue at the end of next year. Then it'll decide who will pay in the following years. He was one of the greats of Illinois basketball with the late Lou Henson could be named too. Also tonight, you've heard of people suffering from lingering effects of COVID-19. Why this one could leave a bad taste in the mouth.
Let's recap today where the high temperature was up there into the 40s once again. We're now back down to the 30s. Almanac shows that 47-degree high well above what is considered normal, and actually only 11 degrees away from a record. The record today was 58 degrees. When we come back, we're telling you about some major changes. Wind rain, big time cold on the way. Stay tuned.